Thank you very much, ladies. You know, it's interesting that today the talk is about embracing perpetual change ever since I've gotten here, I've just seen perpetual change. I'm not even sure where I'm at right now. But it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And isn't change supposed to be a beautiful thing? As you heard me telling the kids, that's one of the things that as adults, we just don't get. I think the older that we get, the more we resist change versus embrace change. So this talk is purely a simple talk to say, stop doing that. Open your heart, open your minds, open your soul to what already is. The reality is change is going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. I find it interesting that the more intelligent we are, the more we don't get that one simple truth, that one of the things that we know is going to happen in life is change, change, change. So as intelligent people, I'm thinking, why struggle against it when it's going to happen? We're in a world that is what life is. For if we weren't in change, quite honestly, we would be dead. We'd be stagnant. So we want change. But don't we have a love-hate? No, let me change that. We don't have a love-hate relationship with change. We have a lukewarm hate relationship with change. And the truth is that either we're not thinking about the changes, or we hate or can't stand the thought of the changes that are coming about. Most of the time, change is happening just as I just said. Every millisecond of every component of our life, something is changing. My goodness, we are changing just sitting here. But we don't think about that with each heartbeat, with each movement, with each follicle of hair that grows, with each component of your nails that grow, with each breath that you take, something is changing. But we don't think about that. We don't think about it because that is just the way it is. That is how life is. It's just this simple amount of change. Where we don't embrace change is when we can't control something, isn't it? That's really what change is all about. That's what we're scared about with change, is that we lose control. Or even worse, we found out that we never had control. We think we have control. I put my left foot out, I put my right foot back. I'm controlling my body, yes? I stick my finger up. I think I'm controlling the world. I'm controlling my actions. But the reality is that the world is spinning and we have no clue what is going on. We can't control everything. The only thing that we can truly control is our own reactions to the actions outside of us. What brought me to this was that a statement or a quote by Arthur Schopenhauer, which says, change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. Change alone, change for the sake of change, is eternal, is always going, perpetual, continually moving forward, immortal, never dies. For change, for the sake of change, is that. So what is it about change? Intellectually, we know that we need it. I find it interesting that talk about change is probably one of the most talked about sermons for most ministers, yet is the least appreciated by the congregant. Let me say that again. How many times have you heard a minister talk about change, and what was your first reaction? Oh, God, not change again. What do I need to know about change? It happens, I don't like it, we keep going, we have faith, la-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, this is a different talk. This is a talk about change so that you can be happy. This is embracing change so that you're no longer struggling, no longer fighting, but embracing change for your happiness. Because the reality is that every time you struggle against change, you get more unhappy. There's a quote that I found that I'm not quite sure if I can find it again that says the most unhappiest people are the people who resist change the most. Henry Bronson said that. The most unhappy people on this earth are the people who resist change. Why? Think about it. If you're resistant the current of change, how unhappy are you going to be as the water is slapping up against you, as the waves are coming at you and you're just struggling to get anywhere? You're tired, you're wet, you're hurting from the sheer mass of the change that is coming to you that you are resisting. That is what we do with our lives. Change is moving past us each and every day. And yet because we can't resist something that as humans we want to control exactly where we're going. And why do we want to do that? Simply for fear. You know, the hate part of our relationship with change is that anytime we think about change, we think about change in the worst possible way. Oh yeah, the breathing back and forth, heart beating, yada, 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 change, that's good. We don't think about that. That's supposed to happen. But the things that get us the most are the changes that we don't think should happen. Changes in our income, changes of loss of job, changes even, the worst change that we can have is when we're happy. Think about the romantic notion of when you're happy, you're in love, and you're at that perfect spot, that sun is setting, you're with the one that you love, the cool breeze is flying, you hear the rippling of and it's perfect. And what's the first thing you say as you huddle it with your loved one? I never want this to change. I never want this to end. Yet, isn't that setting ourselves up? Why do we hold on to that one beautiful thing and wish it never changes? Honestly, think about it. It's a lack of faith. It's a lack of faith that we won't have yet another beautiful instance. That's what we're scared of, is that change is something that is perpetually going down the wrong road, perpetually ending, perpetually death. In all reality, we have issues with death. But let me say that with change and with this life, death and rebirth is all there is. The death of our skin and the shedding of our skin to bring up new, beautiful rebirth of our skin. The death of a flower, fall is one of the most beautiful seasons. What does it do? It comes back up, reborn, refreshed anew with more branches out of the trees. That is a function of our life, but because we have such a bad opinion about endings, we never want anything to end. And yet our sheer trying to control our endings are the things that bring the harshness to those endings. The sheer lack of wanting and trying to control those endings are the things that make them more harsh, because then we come to the cruel reality that we could never stop them. No matter how many barriers, no matter how many things, no matter how many prayers that we wish some things don't change. Change happens. So how do we get beyond our fear of this change and embrace it so that we can be happy no matter what is happening in our lives? You know, I think that you guys are a perfect example. I mean, I heard about the possible move about a month ago. And I'm looking at a month's worth of knowing that you're being moved out of here quickly and having to give away, be removed from a place that you were here for 20 years. And I'm seeing with each member that I've known for years open up their heart and mind and say, wow, this is going to be great. Isn't that the unity way? This is going to be great. We embrace the positive component of it. Mark just told me a statement that Jeremy made, that seems like you guys are moving out of your parents' home and into your own apartment. I think that's great. See, you can tell the people who have been here for a while. And isn't that a wonderful experience? to leave the safety and security of the parents' home to spread out and do everything that you've always wanted to do to your own place. See, if you could have gone, oh my God, the campus foundation is buying this place. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And you could have tightened up. You could have tried to fight for it. You could have just really been in agony over the situation. And who knows, you might have been. I mean, that's a scary kind of thought. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm getting, yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about, Crystal. Yeah. But once you got over yourselves, once you realized the change was happening, then what did you have to do? You had to embrace it. Yes, you had to move on. How do we get into embracing this for our happiness? The first thing is becoming aware of the change. You're like, Crystal, become aware of change? Yeah, duh. How many of us are not aware of change? Again, it's something lackadaisical in us. Cars move by, people walk by, our hearts beat, and we don't really think about change until it's something dramatic. But we have to be aware that every moment of every second, change is happening. Become aware of the changes. How many times have change been happening and you're aware they're happening, but you choose to ignore them? I have a story about, I used to be, for those of you who have been knowing me for a long time, you've heard this story, so just sit back, relax. I used to be a vice president of an advertising agency, and we weren't getting any new bids. And actually, some of the old people, our old clients, were leaving. And so as we let various art directors and designers go, I knew in my heart of hearts, I could see the writing on the wall, that soon they will be getting rid of higher management, middle management and higher management. And what did I do as I saw the writing on the wall? I used unity affirmations the wrong way. I said, oh, Lord, I affirm that I will not be fired. I deny any and all looks of me being moved out, and I affirm I have this well-paying job for a long time. I ignored the obvious. I mean, anyone in any organization knows that at a certain point in time, you need to keep certain members of your group and then start going big. Well, needless to say, 2 layoffs. I was at the 3rd layoff cycle, and I saw people leaving, moving. And eventually, it was my time. And I can't tell you I was sad. I was actually kind of happy. It was a little hellacious job. It was good, but I was in management. I was an artist. I really actually need to be that. But what I should say to you is that after seeing the signs, I chose to ignore them. You have to become aware that change is coming. Why do you become aware of change and coming and embrace it? Look at it fearlessly in the face so that you can, number 2, accept it. Very simple rules, yes? Become aware of a situation, then accept the situation. Well, I accepted the situation as I was taking my boxes outside to my car. But life would have been a lot easier if during the awareness of what was coming down the road, as I was reorganizing budgets, as I was asked to have my artists and designers do way more for a lot less. As I saw the writing on the wall, I could have made it a lot easier so the transition was a lot smoother. Because it was inevitable. I knew it in my heart. Here in Unity, we kind of go for the, were you saying bad things? Were you putting bad things out there? No, I wasn't affirming that I was going to leave, but I did see the obvious. And yes, I affirmed good things, but that just made me ignore them. There are times when God is guiding you. God is guiding you and telling you that there's a change to be made. And it was my will that was holding me back. It was my will for what I wanted that held me back from the change. When I got clear guidance from God that it's time to move, it's time to make plans, it's time to prepare for a better horizon. Become aware of the change fearlessly, fearlessly. Because it's going to come. Change is going to come. No matter how good it is, no matter how bad it is, thank God, no matter how bad it is, change comes. Become aware of it, accept it, and the third thing you should use, AAA, action. Using my own story, if I would have become aware of it fully, embraced it, acknowledged it, and then moved into action, who knows where I could have been? I would have been much happier, it would have been a smoother transition. More than likely, I probably would not have had to have sold my house, would not have lost my car, because I went right into denial. Through my actions, I made things rougher on myself. But that's the change that we're scared of, aren't we? It's because that cycle of ending and releasing, we're scared of change. And the reality is that if I would have embraced it without fear, in some small way, I could have controlled it. I could have controlled my own reactions. Embracing change perpetual change is about becoming happy and being able to become aware of the actions that you are taking. Whether you're in a good situation, whether you're in a bad situation. Just always thank God that we have change. Because again, if we didn't, you would be dead. You would be in a stagnant place. You would be in a worse place. So my friends, as, Jiminy Crickets, Harrison Ford said, I'll leave you with this. Anytime change is coming, I will have you think of Harrison Ford's statement, we all have big changes in our lives that are more or less a second chance. Embrace your second, third, fourth chances. Have faith that these chances are going to be better than the last. No longer hold on to that change is going to be worse. No, embrace that change is good. Perpetual change is going to move you forward in your life so that you have greatness. Thank you.